Hello friends, it's great to see you. It is time for us to get our music class started, and I know we don't often do this because I haven't brought my ukulele very often to Rommelt, but I know we started doing this at the beginning of the year. Just get our voices warmed up a little bit, and for those of you that really don't like to hear yourself sing, well, nobody's around. Here's a great time to start. Just try matching my voice and being my echo. Hello, hello, 5th and 6th grade, it's good to see you. Hello, 5th and 6th grade, it's good to see you. Well, let's get started. Well, hello, Rommelt. Welcome back. Today, I would like to do a little bit of a lesson on some bucket drumming. If we were at Rommelt, I'd hand everybody a 5-gallon bucket and a pair of drumsticks to use while we do this. Well, we're not at school, so I can't do that. But I think I've come up with some things ordinary things that I've found around my house that maybe you might be able to find as well. So I'm going to show you the kind of materials, kind of objects that we can use. And when I'm done showing you all of these things, I'd like you to stop the video and go around your house and see if you can collect these materials and come back to our drumming lesson. All right, so let me show you first. First we need a bucket or something, some kind of a container that has an open top and a closed bottom. First, I found some different items that could be considered a drum. I went around my house searching for something that could stand in the place of a bucket. Something that has an opening on one end and it's closed on the other. I came up with 3 different things. You could probably think of other things that I could use as well, but let me show you what I found. Number 1, I found a pot. This is my biggest pot, one I use when I make a lot of soup, or maybe I do some canning. I will use this. It has the opening at the top, and the bottom is closed. So that's a possibility for us to use. As I was walking around, I found this. This is a plastic tub that we use when we scrub floors or wash the car or something like that. It has an opening at the top and a closed bottom. I also happened to find a 5-gallon bucket. These buckets are similar to what I have at the school that we could use. Again, opening at the top and closed bottom. In addition to that, I decided I needed some kind of drumsticks. Now, for our purposes, I do have a pair of drumsticks, but most likely you don't. So what kinds of things could you think of to use as a set of drumsticks? Well, I immediately went to the kitchen. I don't exactly have many things that are matched, that are the same. One thing that I do have, and I even chose 2 that were not the same, but they're both the same shape and both the same feel, so they will work pretty well. Chopsticks, okay? Something like this might be preferable for moms or dads, because it's not going to make quite as much noise as if you're using something larger. But let's see what else I can find. Well, the next best thing is some wooden spoons. But obviously I'm not going to hit with the spoon end. I'm going to use the stick end of my spoons. Yes, they're wooden, just like my drumsticks. But what if you don't have those things? Well, I wonder, might you have a plastic spoon? A plastic spoon? They both have handles. They're not both round, but they will work if you use the thin side of the spoon to tap with. Or maybe you don't even have spoons, but I found a spatula that also has a handle that can be used. Let's test out some of these different drumsticks, if you will. First off, on my pot, you will remember that when we're playing a drum, we want the open end to be at the bottom, and we need to make sure that somehow we keep that open end off of the floor so it doesn't muffle the sound. I'd like you to notice something. I'm going to use my chopsticks. Chopsticks are the smallest and lightest of all the sticks that I found. The idea with drumming is that we find a way to make at least 2 different sounds on our drum. Most often it's using the rim, which is the edge of our drum, and the head in the center. Here's what I found when I used my big pot. When I tap the rim, and then when I tap the bottom of the pot or the head, they sound an awful lot the same. So I have to change my tactic if I'm going to use a pot like this. Instead of using rim and head, I'm going to use rim and side. Do you hear the difference? Now it's a really, really sharp sound using a pot like this. Listen to what happens if I use something heavier to play on it. I think it's getting a lot louder. Plastic. That's using a metal pot. How about my plastic bin? Remember, opening on the bottom. What happens with the different things that I'm using? Here are my chopsticks. You will find that when you use something plastic like this, we can use the rim and use the head or the center of the bottom. Listen, can you hear the difference? Rim. Okay. Let's find out if it sounds any different using different tools. I kind of like the sound of these a lot better. Wonder if the wooden spoons will sound even different. Did you hear what I heard? Using these made the sound a lot deeper. Now, if you happen to be one of the fortunate ones that around your house you have a plastic bucket like this, this is most authentic. Again, we're going to put that opening toward the bottom. Since I'm sitting on the floor, I am grasping that bucket between my knees and holding it off the floor a little bit so that it lets that opening. Let's see what happens if I tap the rim. Now what happens if I tap the center? Ooh, I hear a really big difference there. What happens if I use a different tool? Ooh, I get a much fuller sound with these. All right, so now here's your turn to go out in your house house and see if you can find some kind of a container that you can use and some kind of stick that you can use to hit onto that container. Remember, when you're looking for that container, it might help if you find something to use for a stick to test it out first. See if you can make two different sounds with it by tapping the rim and the head, or the rim and the side, just some way that you can get two different sounds. Okay, happy hunting. See you in a little bit. All right, friends, welcome back. In a moment, I'm going to show you the simple piece that we're going to be working on over the next few weeks. It's called That Guy Next to Me. But first, I thought I'd show you a little cheat sheet that I created. You'll notice up at the top of that cheat sheet, there are 3 lines. And over to the left, there are names or labels for those lines. Your music is going to look similar to this. The top line is going to be designated for a stick click, the middle line for a rim shot, and the bottom line for tapping on the head of the drum. And you'll remember from looking at my pictures at the bottom that hitting the rim means hitting the side of that stick along the top edge, and to hit the head of the drum is in the center of that top. We're going to be focused on the middle line and the bottom line on this piece of music. What I want you to also notice is this. When you see the rim line and you look all the way through the whole piece of music, on that middle line of the rim, every single note that you see written is going to look like this. Okay, the head of the note is going to be an X. That is to indicate rim. So that if you glance away for a second and come back, you can always see and recognize that the sound you're making for the X is the rim sound. Likewise, the sound that you are going to create on the head is going to be indicated by a regular looking note head like this. All right, I'm ready to show you our music, That Guy Next to Me, and get our drumming going. What you see in front of you right now is a copy of a piece of music, if you will, that we're going to be working on. It's called That Guy Next to Me. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit to show you some of the intricacies of what we're going to be looking at and to make it easier for you to understand. Wrong way. There we go. All right, what you should see in front of you are 3 lines that are labeled all the way at the left-hand side. You'll see it says stick click, rim in the center, and head on the bottom. We're going to focus today on the middle line and the bottom line, the rim and the head. You'll remember those are the 2 places where we suggested that there are 2 different sounds coming from our makeshift drum. Notice that there's a definite rhythm to what you see. Even though every single rhythm you see on the rim line that I'm highlighting right now, you will see the note heads have an X on it. That's to help you to remember that that is designating the rim sound. The notes that you see on the bottom line look like regular music notes. That is to indicate the sounds that are coming from the head. Now, first things first, what I'd like you to look at is the continuity of the rim and the head rhythms, one next to the other. In fact, let's try saying that rhythm, starting right here. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, And you can keep going to the rest of the lines. But I think you'll see how the rhythm is going to affect what sounds we create on our drum. Well, welcome back. Hopefully what you should see in front of you is a close-up of the first line of music in the piece that we're going to be working on. You'll recognize the 3 lines that I showed you earlier. You should also recognize that on that middle line, you see those note heads marked with an X. And remember that that line represents sound on the rim of the drum. You'll notice I'm not trying to use the tip of my stick, but I am using the side of it to tap the rim. And you'll also notice that bottom line with the solid note head represents sounds that come onto the head of the drum, the center of that top, and you'll also notice that with that I am using the tip of my stick. All right, first, before I start to play anything here, I would like to once again review what the rhythm sounds like in this first line of music. Okay, say it with me if you can. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Ti, ti, ta. Ti, ti, ta. Now the trick is going to be to change in the rhythm from the rim to the head. So I'm going to start saying the rhythm, only this time I'm going to say it using words rim and head. So it would kind of go like this. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, head, head. Rim, head, head. Does that make sense? Try saying that with me this time. Ready? Go. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, head, head. Rim, head, head. All right, now it's time to add our sticks. The only thing left for us to do is to take a look at those letters underneath the notes, R and L. I suspect that by now you've figured out that R stands for right and L stands for left. Okay, so that means we're going to start using the right hand or the right stick on the rim. It'll end up being right, left, right, left, right. Notice I switched to the head of the drum when I got to those full note heads. Okay? Go ahead and try just sticking silently along with me first before we actually play. Here we go. 1, 2, start on right. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So instead of saying right and left, I think it will be much easier for all of us if I say the rim and head words along with it. Just know that you're starting on the right hand. 1, 2, ready, go. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, head, head. Rim, head, head. I almost lost my drum there. Well, did you do it? Let's try it again. Starting with the right hand or right stick on the rim. 1, 2, here it goes. Rim, 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 head, head. Rim, 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 head, head, rim, head, head, rim, head, head. Well, how'd you do? I think this has gotten us started on our piece of music. You can spend some time working through some of these challenges with the rim and the head, with right and with left. And once you think you have it, take a short little video clip of you doing part of this piece. You don't need to do the whole thing. And please make sure that you start slow. It does not have to go fast at all. One of the challenges is going to be when we get this worked up, that I do have a recording that we can play it with, and it's going to be really cool. So, happy practicing, happy drumming, and stay safe, stay healthy, and keep your mind engaged.